Powerful and malevolent force behind the Gentry, the Empty Hand origin explained. Created by Grant Morrison, Marcus II, and Ivan Rice, the Empty Hand is the greatest of all powers in the DC universe. This nigh omnipotent cosmic entity first appeared in Morrison's 2014 to 2015 miniseries, The Multiversity. If you have read Scott Snyder's Dark Knight's Death Metal, then you might have gotten a reference to this entity in its 6th issue. This dark, sinister cosmic entity is from beyond the multiverse and wishes to reshape the multiverse into something evil by stopping the flow of hope-inspiring superheroes. Morrison's wild imagination included some heroes and villains in this series which were nothing but reanimated Marvel characters with different names. That is when Super Judge visits Earth 8 instead of Earth 7 with Thunderer, who was extremely similar to Marvel's Thor, who finds a lot of heroes and characters whom the Thunderer called his friends. These Earth 8 characters had uncanny resemblances with Marvel, like Lord Havoc for Doctor Doom and many more. The Empty Hand's capabilities are godlike and are even more powerful than Perpetua and can make the entire multiverse disappear. So, without further delay, let us get into our detailed study of the Empty Hand.
Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin.
What is the Empty Hand? The Empty Hand is a strong cosmic creature with nigh omnipotent abilities. The monster behind Multiversity, the Empty Hand, is still lurking in the shadows of the DC universe, and he's far more frightening than the villains of the Dark Knight's Dark Metal series. The Gentry, the Empty Hand's minions, broke into the DC multiverse from certain dark realms and immediately established their prowess by wiping out the heroes of Earth 7 with remarkable ease. Only the Thunderer made it out alive due to Nixuotan, the Super Judge, staying behind in his stead. The Gentry intends to do the same throughout the cosmos, eradicating all sense of optimism or heroism. To do this, they work to build the Oblivion Machine, a strange technology that has the potential to terminate the whole multiverse and put a stop to the never-ending saga of the superheroes and get it all over with. They do this in the interest of the Empty Hand, who is responsible for most of the Multiversity's operations behind the scenes. Even before the initial appearance of the Empty Hand, his impact may be felt throughout the crossover, notably in the Multiversity Ultra Comics. Ultra Comics introduces the heroic Ultra, a hero composed of collective mental force on the pragmatic Earth 33, where superheroes exist only as fiction. But his comic just expands Gentry's influence and indicates that the Oblivion Machine has much to do with the reader's viewpoint and thinking, by capturing them and squandering their lives away within their manipulations. The Empty Hand can also be seen commanding Earth 42's robotic mini-heroes, and is even shown being revived to continue his task when necessary. Also, the new gods of Earth 51 are scared by the horrific monster involved, and they choose to wait and bide their time while their might expand before confronting it. After Earth Zero, Barry Allen fell on the pre-crisis version of the antimatter universe. Helmosa, Pariah, revealed to him that the so-called Multiverse 2 was in fact the pre-crisis incarnation of the multiverse. He also disclosed to the Speedster that the Empty Hand and the Gentry didn't bring it down, but had been injecting it on this dead multiverse since its obliteration in the first crisis. Later, it is established that the Empty Hand is one of several bigwigs in the multiverse who are keen on harnessing the power of the Great Darkness to conquer the Omniverse. The Gentry. The Gentry are a collection of strong creatures commanded by the Empty Hand to make the multiverse reflect their horror. They come from a realm beyond the multiverse that is described as the antithesis of everything natural. After destroying Earth 7 to attract the attention of the final Monitor, they persuaded him to swap the life of that universe's lone survival for his own, a transaction he accepted. He dispatched that survivor, the Thunderer, to board the Ultima Thule and seek assistance from the rest of the universe before returning for him. The Monitor and his partner, on the other hand, were unavoidably corrupted by the Gentry. These beings successfully traversed the orrery of worlds and contaminated the universe one by one with the help of the Dark Monitor. The Monitor's House of Heroes was the multiverse's only line of defense, and it was gradually getting stronger as more superheroes answered its call and joined the war. The Gentry took action and pursued the Monitor satellite using their Trojan horses of Earth 42 to identify and eliminate the unified defenders, with just a few of them making it to a safe world. Finally, the Dark Monitor himself was dispatched to wipe out the opposition position on Earth 8 and clear the way for the Gentry to invade. The Gentry have entrenched themselves on Earth 7 and are actively developing a contraption known as the Oblivion Machine. DC Multiverse can be destroyed by the Empty Hand. Only one entity in DC continuity has the power to destroy the whole of the DC Multiverse, included what is existing outside of it, the Empty Hand, the supreme villain of the epic The Multiversity. The DC Multiverse's united heroes uncover the power driving the Gentry, the Empty Hand. Each member of the Gentry poses a threat to numerous planets, yet we witness swarms of them buzzing around the Empty Hand, doing its business. It explains that the attack on the multiverse was only a threat assessment, and that the Empty Hand learned from the DC comic heroes that he had nothing to fear. It rejects them in favor of focusing on its latest project, the Oblivion Machine, which it presents to the heroes as the concluding chapter of your never-ending journey. The Empty Hand meant this literally, as in previous chapters, the Gentry exhibited power over comic books, modifying and sending the Multiversity series around the multiverse. The Empty Hand possesses the ability to eat and reset multiverses indefinitely, allowing for the swirl of continuity resets that characterize the ever-changing nature of DC superhero comics. If he used the Oblivion Machine, that continuous tale would come to an end, culminating in a multiversal catastrophe from which DC would be unable to recover. The Empty Hand is a magical force that appears in the DC universe as having something to do with creation, first appearing when Krona first saw the origin of the universe, then in the war between Spectre and Anti-Monitor and Crisis on Infinite Earths, Alexander Luthor in Infinite Crisis, and now in Multiversity, where it appears to be the main villain behind the Gentry's attack.
And if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks everyone.